So, Ravenous. Now, this is actually quite an interesting weapon because most people say it's terrible out in the open world. It's got a few niche uses that allow you to be pretty much overpowered to all hell, but to use it in the open world, there are just better options, which is absolutely true. Pretty much all of its damage output either comes from using the defensive primers or the offensive primers. You're sort of forced into using a mechanic in order to actually get anything really out of it. Although it does do okay damage when just straight firing, it's conditional. One, both barrels kind of need to hit. Two, what are you fighting? Against something like the robot doggo, as you can see there, I'm hitting pretty damn hard because it's armor plating, not armor. But when I go back to shooting other guys, it's a bit clunky, it's a bit weird, I miss a lot. They shouldn't be living for as long as I'm shooting at them. So I would definitely be doing better with an M1A or lightweight M4, anything really. Any other rifle would potentially be better just due to the whole double barrel issue thing. But there are weird and wacky ways in which you can have this as an open world weapon. And I would like to think this is possibly the best setup for an open world Ravenous build that not only that I've come up with, but that I've probably seen on the internet, YouTube, simply because it is literally geared to working with how the Ravenous mechanics actually work, which is a bit different. Now for straight up DPS, it is pretty damn good. Both barrels hitting, we do just over about 1 million damage a shot. Getting into the headshots, we just scrape under 2 mil. And we can get some absolutely hilarious damage out of it, particularly on the explosions. We're also quite survivable when we are stacking our bonus armor, which is really handy because we are running glass cannon just to get a little bit more oomph out of it. Now, although this can be used solo, as you can see, I am using it solo, running around doing some open world stuff. This particularly shines in a group where you could have, like, I don't know, potentially a healer, a tank, a DPS, but your main role would be dealing with heavies, chungers, doggos, that sort of thing, because that's just where this weapon excels. And with that, it kind of transitions into how you should, if you decide to use this build, how you play it. See, against normal enemies, you typically want to start from the right, going to the left to proc that explosion, just to deal with the enemies as quick as possible. Against chungers, doggos, heavies, whatever you want to call them, start with the left, procking on the right. This will give you your armor plating bonus. This just allows you to deal with different enemies at different rates. Although you do kind of still want to do a bit of both, because obviously the bonus armor from going from left to right is going to help you stay alive, because we are running glass cannon. And then vice versa with proccing the armor plating bonus, getting the explosions obviously do have an effect as well and can help you deal more damage in kicking a bit of chungus butt. Now, I actually quite like this build, and I quite often just transition to it on occasion when I'm just running around doing whatever, just because it's something different to play. It's kind of unique, it's kind of fun, gets you a little bit more involved in thinking rather than just going unga bunga, mad DPS, kill everything. But as well as typically during events, one of the biggest issues I typically have, like with this reanimated, it's all about headshots. If you ever tried getting a headshot on the chungus, it's kind of really annoying. So having a Ravenous on you with a build similar to this, or someone with a Ravenous with a build similar to this, if you're doing some group farming, is really handy, because while others are popping those headshots and yeah, dealing with all the ads, you can just be like, don't worry guys, I've got the Chunga, which is kind of handy. If it's something like Golden Bullet, then yeah, this build becomes redundant. Just go like Unga Bunga Mad DPS, because that's a Mad DPS kind of global event. And with that kind of comes with your situational play. Because of how Ravenous works, you kind of really do need to think about your positioning, how you want to set yourself up, as well as where you are going to aim the enemies you start with. So it's kind of a little bit more challenging, but it does work out quite fun in the end, and the build itself does really help compensate for the shortcomings of Ravenous while buffing or providing more utility with how Ravenous is actually designed. Now there is one piece in what I am using which is going to be a nightmare to get. However, with all the events we've got going on, it shouldn't be too difficult. But here I just want to show some of the DPS, just proccing the explosions, and we can kill named elites pretty damn quick. I have potato aim, so we're going to put it at close range. So you can see we're hitting pretty damn high, and we are dealing with at least named elites solo pretty damn quick on heroic. Body shots, it's not as quick, but we can still absolutely destroy them. So for the pieces, we are running Ravenous. Mine needs a little bit of work, as you can see, and just as a backup I am using Emmeline's Guard, mainly because of perfect preservation, or whatever it's called. It just helps us stay alive, and if we do need more damage as well, Orbit really does help. Hollow Man is basically a requirement because of that health damage and how Ravenous works with damage to armor plating. We really need that health damage, and then obviously armor plating, as it says there, this is not damage to armor, it's armor plating. So health damage, building a bit of crit, we've got some armor on there for a little bit of survivability to help stack with our bonuses. And as you can see, we're running 3-piece Walker and Harris for, you guessed it, more damage to health. We're getting a little bit of damage to armor in there and weapon damage. Memento, which just helps us regenerate and stack armor as well. We are running glass cannon because it does work out better in the long run as we're using a rifle. And of course Fox's Prayer, because it is a rifle. Anyway, that just about does it for me. Have fun, good luck, and don't die. It's bad for the health.